You lost your, very good. Hey everybody, my name's Dwayne Urban. I'm the owner of Urban Defense LLC Firearms Training and Consulting and the founder and one of the admins of the Maryland Gun Owners group on Facebook. And I'll be the moderator for tonight's discussion. Along with me tonight is Andrew Sauer from Sauer, Lord, Ernstberger, and Inslee. We're filming this event tonight from Urban Defense. Tonight we're going to be discussing the bills being proposed in Annapolis, which affect wear and carry and guns in this state in general, as well as their potential impact. If you're joining us via Facebook Live and you have a question or a comment, please submit it in that comment window and we'll do our best to address it. Also, please help increase our reach by commenting, sharing, hitting those like and reaction buttons. And again, as I said, share this post to either your personal page or to any group that you think would like to see it. And remember, you can still comment on the rebroadcast. We're still going to be checking this even after the live stream has ended. So before we get started, let me take a moment to thank our sponsors and our supporters in the industry. Spartan Cigar Lounge, Top Gun Firearms located at 2800 Bel Air Road in Falston, Maryland Police Supply located at 617 Stemmers Run Road in Essex. Both of these places stock our Urban Defense brand, top quality, non-firing dummy rounds for skills practice, as well as lots of other really great products, so check them out. And of course, Urban Defense, we offer top-notch firearms training and consulting delivered by experienced law enforcement instructors. Remember, not all classes are created equal. There's a lot of bad stuff going on out there, so don't cheat yourself out of quality training just to save a few bucks. Your livelihood, your freedom, your life, and the life of somebody you love just might depend on it. Remember, train, fight, and win. Our next Maryland Wear and Carry Permit class is scheduled for this coming Saturday and Sunday, March 11th and 12th. And our next HQL Handgun Qualification License Training course is scheduled for Saturday, March the 11th, so this Saturday. We're also a proud partner with U.S. Law Shield. So for carry insurance, look no further, but we'll get to more on that later. If you'd like to sign up for a class or you'd like to ask a question, or if you're a dealer and you'd like to become a supporter of Urban Defense, please feel free to visit the website or give us a call. Or if you'd like to participate in a class, also give us a call. But if you do call during this live stream, we're all here, so we're not going to be able to answer the phone. So just leave a message and we'll get back to you. So let me take a moment to introduce our guest, and he can tell you a little bit about himself. Andrew?
Good afternoon. I'm Andrew Sauer. I'm a partner at Sauer, Lord, Ernstberger, and Inslee in downtown Baltimore City. I routinely practice in district and circuit courts here in the state of Maryland. I'm a lifetime member of the NRA. I'm a licensed collector. I'm a permitted carry holder, and I'm a firearm enthusiast.
So you certainly have a vested interest in being here tonight.
Absolutely.
All right. Now, before we get started, and I'm sure you'll appreciate this, I have to give everyone a quick disclaimer. All statements made during this Facebook live stream are intended for educational purposes only and are not intended to convey legal advice or create an attorney-client relationship. The host and the speaker highly recommend that attendees seek the assistance of legal counsel regarding any questions that they have regarding firearms laws in the state of Maryland.
Absolutely.
So let's get into it. Again, if you're joining us via Facebook Live and you have a question, just drop it in that comment box and we'll go ahead and do our best to address it. So, proposed legislation, the first bill, and there are four, but the first one that we're going to talk about tonight is going to be House Bill 704, Firearms Tracking Technology. This was introduced by Maryland Delegate Pam Queen, Democrat, District 14, Montgomery County. And it reads, quote, prohibiting a person from engaging in a certain bulk firearms transfer unless each firearm that is part of this transfer contains a certain embedded tracker, requiring a seller or other transferor who engages in a bulk firearms transfer to transmit to the Secretary of State Police certain information, providing that a violation of the Act is a civil offense and subject to a fine of up to $2,500, and requiring the Secretary to establish a certain database to store information about each bulk firearm transfer in the state. So, Andrew, what do you make of this?
This is really a problem in search of a solution here, or the exact opposite, actually. It's a solution in search of a problem. This bill, as designed and written, would make acquiring new firearms in Maryland almost impossible from the manufacturers. This would require them, as noted for the manufacturer, the serial number, and any other information required by the Secretary of State Police to put this RFID tracker somewhere in the receiver or the frame so that the state police could at some point wand or scan every firearm and have this information contained. You would try and make an argument that this is to counter obliterated serial numbers or to positively fight the unlicensed distribution of ghost guns, which is already illegal. I don't know what value this will actually provide to law enforcement, to the citizens of Maryland to improve their safety. Instead, my fear is it will make all your manufacturers, they're either going to have to start making firearms compliant just for the state of Maryland, and we've seen the hoops they have to jump through to have California compliant firearms, or just unfortunately, they may say Maryland is just a smaller market, we are just not going to produce and sell firearms here in Maryland, or sell them in such low volume that they would not qualify under the statute as a bulk transferer. So the availability of firearms we're all familiar with, Glocks, Sig Sauers, etc., new production models would evaporate. And I think this is really a backdoor attempt to essentially remove the Second Amendment here in Maryland.
It's almost like a de facto ban. So let me read what they say in the bill about what an embedded tracker actually means. So embedded tracker, quote, means an object that is, 1, embedded in the frame or receiver of a firearm, 2, emits unique tracking information, and 3, is not readily capable of being removed, disabled, or destroyed without rendering permanently inoperable or destroying the frame of the receiver. So, again, a technological impossibility maybe, but certainly something that's going to make firearms so costly and hard to get, it equates to a de facto ban of sorts.
If I'm a manufacturer, why do I want to take on this liability of $2,500 as a civil fine per firearm that could be enforced by the Attorney General, whose pockets are unlimited and would love to have this be a campaign position? Why would I want to do that when there are 49 other states where I can sell my firearms without this burden? And once again, it would be unique to Maryland. So God forbid New Jersey or California passes a similar statute. Are you going to use the same software for each, or is each state going to require its own proprietary software as designated by the Secretary of State Police? Once again, is the Maryland market worth saving? I would, of course, argue yes, but I could certainly see people like Glock or any other large firearm manufacturer saying it's just no longer worth the headache when the amount of civil liability we would have to take on in order to supply firearms to the state of Maryland.
So let me ask you this. It says in the beginning of it, it says bulk firearms transfer means the sale or other transfer of 10 or more firearms together from one party to another party. So that could potentially be construed as being persons, not just dealers, not just manufacturers.
And that is also going to stop if I decided I wanted to get into the business of this and I was going to Pennsylvania and purchasing 10 long guns that would be cash carry, bringing them back in here and then reselling them at my gun store. Absolutely. This is going to have much greater consequences than people would imagine just at its face value.
Absolutely. And not to mention the fact of the logistical nightmare it's going to create for the Maryland State Police Licensing Division, who now has to have this database, this software, this ability to track, as if they're probably not busy enough as it is right now. Now they have to throw manpower at this and technology. It's just, to me, this is ridiculous.
Absolutely. And I'm sure there's plenty of people here who remember when there was the test fire requirement here in Maryland.
Shell casing, yeah.
And that ended up solving almost no crime whatsoever, cost millions of dollars in taxpayer funding, and it did nothing to protect a single citizen here in Maryland other than create more bureaucracy, more fees, and impediments to owning firearms.
Absolutely. So, likelihood of this thing passing?
A couple things that lead me to believe it probably will not pass. It has not been cross-filed. There was only the bill pending in the House side of things. There's no companion bill in the Senate. There is a hearing March 8th at 1 o'clock. I hope that everyone writes their legislator. I hope anyone who can go to Annapolis and testify goes there and does it. Crossover Day, which is the day that any bill in an effort, a bill doesn't have to have a companion bill to pass, but going back to high school civics class here, it would start in the House of Delegates and then move over to the state Senate. March 20th is the crossover day. So if it has not been passed by the House by March 20th, the odds of it passing by sine die, which is the last day of the legislative session on April 10th, are quite remote. So if we get out and we mobilize, this one could be stopped this year and stopped forever. I do hope.
And James, if you're able, I know you already put it up, but why don't you put up the picture of the of Delegate Queen again with her information on there, so anybody wants to give that individual a call, they can feel free to do that.
And any of your legislators that are on that committee, please let them know how you feel.
All right. You go ahead and take it down. All right, so let's move to the next one. Next bill that we're tracking here. So, Senate Bill 86, the so-called Raise the Age Act of 2003. Senator Jeff Waldstreicher, Democrat, District 18, Montgomery County, and Senator Susan Lee, Democrat, District 16, Montgomery County. It reads, quote, altering the prohibition on selling, renting, or transferring certain ammunition to a person under the age of 21 years, prohibiting a person who is under the age of 21 years from possessing a rifle or shotgun except under certain circumstances, etc. What say you, Andrew?
You're going to see a common recurring theme here from the good state senators. Both of them are very, very anti-Second Amendment. The good senator has made a campaign pledge that he is going to do his best to enact common sense gun reform, which we all know what that means. And he has introduced a number of bills this year. This is one of them. And it's clearly designed right now, if you are 18 years of age and not otherwise disqualified, you can go purchase a shotgun or rifle. He wants to eliminate that right under the Second Amendment. Now, this would impose criminal penalties of up to 5 years or a $10,000 fine if you were under 21 and in possession of a rifle or shotgun, except in very limited enumerated circumstances.
And ammunition.
And ammunition. So, immediately using it in self-defense would be an exception. But, for example, if you were an 18, 19, or 20-year-old who lived on your own, you could not have a rifle or shotgun in your home under any normal circumstances unless you met one of the exceptions that you were hunting with someone over 21 years of age and they lent you the shotgun, or you were at a range or something like that. But your rights would be extremely curtailed. Now, this bill also does not have a cross-filer in the House. This bill is coming out of the Senate. I, personally and professionally, do not think this is going to pass constitutional muster. Looking at the Bruin decision and looking at the traditional restrictions, historical restrictions on firearm ownership, I do not believe that the Attorney General's office is going to be able to find historical examples of 18, 19, and 20-year-olds being prohibited from possessing long guns. Now in Maryland, unfortunately now, or fortunately if you are on the other side, we now have complete control of both the House, Senate, and Governor's Mansion and Attorney General's office, and people who are generally anti-Second Amendment and pro-gun control. So they're going to do whatever they can to nibble around Bruin and raise the cost to challenge these. This type of case, it might be unconstitutional on its face, but you're going to have to find a plaintiff, you're going to have to find lawyers, you're going to have to go to the U.S. District Court and file, you're going to hopefully win. But the state, you have to be prepared, they're going to file an appeal to the Fourth Circuit. You probably will win there, but you may not. You have to be prepared for this to go all the way to the Supreme Court. That could easily take 5 years and countless dollars and countless headache and heartache for all the parties involved, let alone all the people who are going to have their rights stripped away from them during that time period. So I hope this does not pass. It has only the two people as sponsors, so there is a chance it does not, but at the same time, this is a serious erosion of people's constitutional rights.
Absolutely, and a single round. So imagine you're at one of these exceptions. You're at a clay shoot or something like that, and you leave with a single round in your pocket. A single round of ammunition puts you in violation. A 22 round bouncing around in your pocket.
And a conviction over 2 years, that would then disqualify you from any future firearm ownership for the rest of your life. So this is being done clearly by design, and you can't tell me that this really benefits public safety, because I would imagine of the totality of all firearms-related crimes in the state of Maryland, very, very, very few, if any, were committed by individuals 18, 19, or 20 years old who lawfully purchased and lawfully owned and were not a prohibited person, a rifle or shotgun. I just don't understand it. Well, I understand what they're trying to do, but I don't think the numbers support it.
Agreed. So that one is also obviously problematic. All right, moving right along. Senate Bill 113, civil action, public nuisances, firearms industry members, the so-called Gun Industry Accountability Act of 2023. Senator Jeff Waldstreicher, Democrat, District 18, Montgomery County, and Senator Susan Lee, Democrat, District 16, Montgomery County. We're seeing this trend here. And it reads, quote, prohibiting firearm industry members from knowingly or recklessly creating, maintaining, or contributing to a public nuisance through the sale, manufacture, distribution, importation, or marketing of a firearm-related product under certain circumstances, requiring a firearm industry member to establish and implement certain reasonable controls regarding the sale, manufacture, distribution, importation, marketing, possession, or use of certain firearms-related products, authorizing certain civil actions for violation of this law, violations of the act, etc. Andrew.
This is very troubling. Of all the bills so far, this actually has the greatest chance of passage. It's been cross-filed in the House. In the House, it's HB 259, and it still is in the early stages, but this is a serious problem when you consider the bill in its totality. This is really designed as an attack on the firearms manufacturers, and it's an attempt to erode the protections of the Federal Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act. I'm sure viewers are familiar. If they're not, after the tragedy at Sandy Hook, Remington was sued, and in 2020 they settled for $73 million. Remington had a lot of problems. They were in bankruptcy and things of that nature, but the intent and purpose is clear. One of the provisions of the Act that I find most troubling is Section D. Notwithstanding any intervening actions, including a criminal action by a third party, the conduct of a firearm industry member is a proximate cause of the harm to the public if the harm is a reasonably foreseeable effect of the conduct.
So that means that the criminal commits the act that the firearms person has no knowledge of, and yet they're responsible.
Yes.
Just like if someone's driving a Ford down the road and they've been drinking and they crash into someone, now we're going to hold Ford responsible for the actions of that drunk driver.
Absolutely. And the ramifications of this, no one has foreseen exactly what's going to happen, but I promise you, if you love the Second Amendment, they are not going to be good. If, pick any firearms manufacturer, if they are selling firearms to a dealer, and we know there are wonderful dealers, there are also some dealers that are not the best. If it can be shown that they maybe have known that a dealer was sloppy with paperwork and was still selling firearms, and somehow it got into the hands of a criminal, and the criminal used it in a criminal act, it's going to be the firearm dealer, but as well as the firearm manufacturer. The market, and this doesn't apply just even to firearms, it's also firearms accessories. So if the marketing materials of a firearm are, if a jury can be convinced that they are a proximate cause of what happened, we can sue the firearm accessory, whether it be a brace, whether it be a grip, whether it be a magazine. Any of these things are now on the table that the manufacturers can be sued.
So could you say then that if they put out some sort of marketing that showed the firearms use in a certain light or a favorable light, and then someone could say they were incited by that, potentially could that also put them in jeopardy?
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. And this statute gives both a private cause of action, meaning that if I am harmed somehow by a firearm, I can sue the manufacturer. It also gives the Attorney General the right to seek redress. So the state of Maryland, if they feel they have been harmed indirectly or its citizens have been harmed, they are free. Anthony Brown now, our Attorney General, could bring a lawsuit against a firearms manufacturer. And fighting City Hall, fighting the government is never cheap, easy, or free. And we run into another circumstance where we need to be worried that firearms manufacturers might start to make economic decisions here in Maryland, and economic decisions that we don't like. They may say, it's not worth the headache, we're going to stop selling firearms in Maryland. And that is going to be a serious concern for people with the Second Amendment.
So, and you'll pardon me if you already went over this, but it provides for injunctive relief, restitution, compensatory and punitive damages, reasonable attorney fees and costs, and any other appropriate relief.
That could result in a firearms manufacturer being banned from doing business here in the state of Maryland. And the biggest fear, if I'm, these are companies at the end of the day, punitive damages are designed to punish. So they do not have to be commensurate with the injury sustained. And they are designed to be harmful, to be painful. So one mistake from a criminal, and it's not a mistake at that point if the criminal's doing it, can result in a billion-dollar judgment against a firearms manufacturer or an accessory manufacturer. So it is a real concern that this is going to result in a backdoor ban on firearms manufacturers doing business here in Maryland. We already know companies that were manufacturing firearms here in Maryland have left and gone elsewhere due to the state's unfriendly practices. And next thing you know, firearms manufacturers, if I was in their legal compliance department, I would be looking at these long and hard, and I may have to make economic decisions that I'm no longer going to sell firearms here in Maryland.
And if it wasn't already insinuated, it says it right in here in Section 3. A party seeking relief under this section is not required to prove that the firearm industry member acted with the intent to violate this subsection, or rather this subtitle.
Absolutely. Now, the constitutionality of this statute is going to be under serious concern by the courts, but at the same time, this is a very murky area because this is not a de facto ban on any firearms. This is not a de jure ban on any firearms. But by opening the floodgates to liability, this is a problem. There is a question, and this is really getting in the legal weeds, under the doctrine known as federal preemption. Does the federal statute control? Did Congress intend for that statute to control and ban these type of lawsuits? I don't know if we're ever going to actually find the answer to that question, though, because I don't know if any firearms manufacturers are going to wait to get sued and then look at the risk versus reward, I could lose $1 billion in this suit, because also you got to remember attorney's fees shift. Generally, in most lawsuits, each side pays their own attorney's fees. In this case, the loser is going to pay. So the state of Maryland, if they're willing to spend 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 million dollars fighting one of these cases, how much money is the firearms industry going to fight against that? And the risks are just so high. I don't know if this one would actually be challenged, because if Remington settled, why isn't anyone else going to settle?
Right. So for everyone out there viewing, it's very easy to find this information. Go to Google, type in Maryland Senate Bill 113 or any of the bills that we've just discussed that you're interested in. The information will pop up. The language of the bill will pop up. It's very easy to find. So again, we encourage you to look at this, do your own due diligence, and know what's being proposed in Annapolis.
Every one of the viewers has 3 members of the House of Delegates that represent them and 1 state senator. Contact all 4 of these people and let them know your opposition to this bill. They're going to try and phrase this that this is just a technical bill regulating the industry, but the effects that everyone is going to feel are going to definitely be pronounced if this is passed.
So I'm being told it's time for us to have a break real quick and thank our sponsors and supporters in the industry. Again, Spartan Cigar Lounge in Elkton, Top Gun Firearms located at 2800 Bel Air Road in Falston, Maryland Police Supply located at 617 Stemmers Run Road in Essex. Both of these places, again, stock our Urban Defense brand of high-quality non-firing dummy rounds for skills practice and plenty of other really great stuff. Check them out. And, of course, Urban Defense, we offer top-notch firearms training and consulting delivered by experienced law enforcement instructors. The next Maryland Wear and Carry Permit class is scheduled for this coming Saturday and Sunday, March 11th and 12th. Our next handgun qualification license training course is scheduled for Saturday, March 11th. And stay tuned for our upcoming Force on Force reality-based scenario training program, where you're going to be able to develop your judgmental and reaction skills using the same equipment and techniques that's used in law enforcement today. So you won't want to miss out on this. It's going to be a lot of fun, and participants are going to get a whole lot out of it. Feel free to visit the website or call for more information. And finally, U.S. Law Shield. If you don't have firearms and self-defense insurance for less than $12 a month, you owe it to yourself to be protected from legal turmoil. Check out U.S. Law Shield. They protect you from any lawful use of self-defense, not just firearms. And they won't abandon you on appeal like many of the other ones out there. You can find more information on our website, www.urbandefense.org. To sign up, go to your app store, download the U.S. Law Shield app, and sign up using promo code URBAN1. It should be on your screen right now. That's URBAN, the number 1, and you'll get 30 days free if you use this promo code. They'll waive the $20 sign-up fee, and your monthly premium will never change for the rest of your life. The app is free. It was just released last year. It's packed with tons of useful information as it applies to carry nationwide and other related topics, and they're adding new and useful information all the time. Again, that's promo code URBAN1 for the special offer. And also, please help us increase the reach of this live stream video. Help us get this information out to more people. You can do that. You can do that by sharing this video, by commenting, by liking. Again, share it to your page. Share it to a group that you think might be interested in it. And remember, you do not need to not comment on the rebroadcast. We will still be checking this, so you can comment on the broadcast or on the rebroadcast. Okay, so now to the elephant in the room, as we would say. Oh, let me fire this up. For those of you that are wondering, Rocky Patel Edge Habano, thumbs up.
Excellent, excellent.
Yes. All right, Senate Bill 1, wearing, carrying, or transporting firearms restrictions. The so-called Gun Safety Act of 2023. Senator Jeff Waldstreicher, again, Democrat, District 18, Montgomery County, and again, Senator Susan Lee, Democrat, District 16, Montgomery County. And it reads, quote, prohibiting a person from knowingly wearing, carrying, or transporting a firearm on the real property of another unless the other has given certain permissions to the person or the public generally, and prohibiting a person from knowingly wearing, carrying, or transporting a firearm within 100 feet of a place of public accommodation. All yours.
A place of public accommodation. Everyone, it's going to take me a couple minutes to read every place of accommodation covered under the statute. As defined, a place of public accommodation, an inn, hotel, motel, or other establishment that provides lodging to transient guests. A restaurant, cafeteria, lunchroom, lunch counter, soda fountain, or other facility principally engaged in selling food or alcoholic beverages for consumption on or off premises, including a facility located on the premises of a retail establishment or gasoline station, a motion picture house, theater, concert hall, sports arena, stadium, or other place of exhibition or entertainment, a retail establishment that is operated by a public or private entity and offers goods, services, entertainment, recreation, or transportation, or an establishment that is physically located within the premises of any other establishment covered by this subtitle, or within the premises of which any other establishment covered by this subtitle is physically located, and that holds itself out as serving patrons of the covered establishment.
Wow. That's pretty much everything.
Everywhere you would imagine. State Senator Waldstreicher has said, I've seen the interviews, that the design of this statute is intentional. He wants citizens to leave their guns at home. And by designing it in this manner, there are large portions of this state where you could not hope to carry a gun at all lawfully, because everywhere you go, there will be one of these categories of place nearby. And unless you have express permission to be there with a firearm, you're looking at a misdemeanor punishable by 1 year in jail.
So DC, let me jump over here. So DC says that they have to be, signage must be posted. It's very specific about the type of signage, the size, the color of the font, the size of the font. It has to be posted at all the entrances and stuff. Essentially, this says, not that, it says that the person has to post saying that you can allow guns. How many people, how many businesses care enough to do that?
And at that point, and revisiting other bills we were discussing, look at the potential liability you are going to bring on yourself by explicitly allowing it. And what kind of business is going to, unless it is a locally owned business, can you imagine the Walmart Corporation saying, oh yes, for our Maryland stores only, we're going to post these signs allowing lawful business persons to come in bringing their firearms. I think
that's very unlikely
Yeah.
for Walmart, at least. Now, what's interesting to me is the soda fountain.
Yes.
provision. I'm not
Yes.
familiar. Are there still soda fountains out there?
I don't know of any. If anyone knows of any, let us know in the comments. We'll go sample them.
Yeah, please put it in the comments so we can notify these soda fountains that they're going to have to post a sign. So essentially, here we have people that have wear and carry permits, and here's what's important. People sometimes aren't paying attention to the laws that get passed. And what is lawful now with your wear and carry permit, if you have one, which is a growing number of people, will not be lawful if this passes when the effective date comes. Which means that if you're not paying attention, which is why we're doing this, which is why this is important, if you're not paying attention, the day before, totally lawful. The following day, when it takes effect, you're in violation. And let's see what the actual penalty is. And I think it's right.
Misdemeanor, 1 year.
1 year. Okay. So problematic.
Yeah. Now, sir, I mean, I'm sure we're going to have viewers in the more rural areas of the state that this certainly probably will not affect. But even those people, I am almost certain that at some point you're going to go in a store. And you've heard the list of what a public establishment is. It's everything. So you really, really really need to contact your legislators about this.
Do you see the possibility of this being amended to more mirror what DC is doing, allowing for the posting of signages prohibiting as opposed to requiring signage saying that you can?
I would hope it would be. I am not sure I see that coming. State Senator Waldstreicher and State Senator Lee have both been very strident in their position that they feel that Bruin was a mistake. They feel that Bruin should not have happened. They feel that Bruin is endangering the lives of the citizens of Maryland. I'm involved in the criminal defense bar. I'm yet to have a single case of someone who had a lawful permit to carry engaged in a crime of violence. But let's not let the statistics get in the way. Let's ban it while we can. And this is going to be another one. This is really modeled on New York, passed a similar ban. And the Fifth Circuit of Appeals up in New York is allowing the ban to stand pending the outcome of the case. So that's going to take years. I think that this is going to be unconstitutional when it's all said and done. Just this is going to be a battle. Now, thankfully, this bill, as are several of the others, is only in the Senate right now. It was not cross-filed in the House. So there is a chance that it does not pass, that is amended in the House, or something like that occurs. And that's why, once again, get on the phones to your legislators. Because as it stands right now, and really the owner of any real property, that's a fancy way of saying anyone that owns anything, unless they give you explicit permission for you to have a firearm there, to carry or transport it there, that would be a violation. And I can see a number of people out of ignorance, out of not understanding, are going to get themselves in very unfortunate situations if this bill is enacted.
Understood. So, as we bring this evening's discussion to a close, I want to thank our guest, I want to thank our sponsors and our supporters, and I'd like to thank all of you, everyone that's viewing it either live virtually right now or that are going to watch it on the rebroadcast. Please continue to educate yourself on what's going on in Annapolis and what passes. We are planning to hold at least one more, maybe two more of these as time goes forward. Certainly after everything has worked its way out and we see what has passed, what hasn't passed, what the language is, so that we can come back on and have that discussion of what it is and how it is going to affect you and what it is maybe that we all can do together as a firearms community to try and help combat some of this bad law. So remember, please drop a comment in the box with suggestions for the next video, ways that we can improve. You saw something you liked, saw something you didn't like, maybe the sound wasn't good, whatever. Drop it in the comment box so that we can review that and certainly make the next one better. If you're not a member of the Maryland Gun Owners Group on Facebook, make sure that you join and invite others to join. It's the one with the profile pic that you're getting ready to see on the screen, or it might be up on the screen right now. There are one or two other similarly named groups. They're not us. All right, the one on the screen that you saw or are seeing right now, that is us. And remember, when you join, you're going to be asked a series of questions. Please answer those questions. Invite others to join. Even if you invite someone else to join, they're still going to have to answer the 3 questions. It's something that we had to do to combat the trolls. Of the Maryland Facebook gun groups, we are the oldest, or one of the oldest, certainly, and we're still here. Many of them are gone. And again, the trolls get in and they do things that endanger the group. So please remember to have those folks answer those questions. We will be approving those requests every day.
I'm an active participant there. If you have firearms-related questions, please feel free to post, and I answer as many as I can.
Yes. Also, again, please remember to like and share the Urban Defense LLC page on Facebook as well as this live stream video. It really helps us to grow and to get the word out. So for me, for Urban Defense, for our supporters, our guests, Thanks again. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you on the next one.